Here's a two-time winner. This is Anders Södergren leading for Sweden, and coming up there and followed by another Swede. That's the man, Kalle Halvarsson. Really impressed with Kalle this year. Great series in the World Championships, and only can go from strength to strength, I think, in the next couple of seasons, given that he's only 23.
He is, he's really good, and they must be lifted. Look, there's the white suits are coming to the front, so the Swedes maybe have a strategy to work on this one together. And you're very, very talented, and must be inspired from what Olsen did in Italy at the World Champs.
The other thing that I noticed when I was looking down the betting odds, Daniel Rickardson, remember him? He came up to chase Johan Olsen in the finale, the final stages of the 50 at the World Championships, and he said he felt really good, and then just the gathering of the forces, he got run out of the medal positions. Now, he's on offer at an incredible 100 to 1, and I don't expect to see him for quite a while.
Very interesting. But you're right, we know he knows he can last the distance. But I do think that the athletes who have raced lightly since the World Championships certainly will be more energized. And as for Petter Northug, I don't know how he does it. Everyone must be asking, how does this man do it? I think it's his strength of his will and his mind that keeps him going so strong all the time.
Well, he can do pain.
He can
that's one of the things. A lot of these athletes, you saw Johan Olsen, he could do pain.
Oh.
And, you know, for a lot of these athletes, they do pain, but there are some who do it better than others, and some who can come out the other side and still put in an amazing performance. And, you know, what we've seen from Northug this year, winning individual time trials for the first time in his career, now he can really claim to be the all-rounder.
Oh, he can, and he seems to, he's got more status. The press here obviously have always loved him. He's so good, and you never know what he's going to do. He's brought a real spark to cross-country skiing.
I've warmed to him this year because I think his sarcasm and wit has been really well placed. You know, he's come out and he's been very funny, because he was saying after he won the 15-kilometer race in Lahti, he said, I don't get all this mass start stuff. You know, I think the real thing is time. These people who come up and sit on your shoulder and then in the last 200 meters come through, and he was really having a joke about the whole thing. And that's, you know, that makes the headlines, that makes the personality, and every sport needs that.
He's brutal, though. He's just pushed his way literally past Kalle Halvarsson. Petter Northug up front right now. So again, we're climbing back up this mega 3-kilometer climb again, heading up towards our, well, not towards yet, but in the direction of the points. We're just going to nip around the stadium here before that major journey back up.
And there is Anders Södergren, and he's stepping away. Now, Södergren, not many people win at Oslo. It's a great thing to be on a roll of honour here, particularly in the 50 kilometres, particularly in classic style. And Södergren's done it twice, and he's done it the only way that he can do it, which is to really grind the result out. We know that he hasn't got a sprint finish. He's got to break them up. He's got to make them hurt.
And, you know, maybe that's what he's doing. We now come up level with the base of the ski jump. We're going to carry on along the contours for a little bit before we drop down. And then there's still another kilometre before we come back, well, less than a kilometre back to the stadium. You're right. I think Södergren maybe is going to try and take on what his countryman did, Olsen at the World Champs. Look at this gap already. Sveen, the young Norwegian, going with them. They're just, and our Halvarsson.
Is this a bit of a game from the Swedes here?
And Eriksson, I think they're road blocking. Well done, boys.
They are. They're just, and this is where Northug is going to actually have to be very careful, because remember, there's another bonus opportunity that comes up at 11.3 kilometers, and here you can see that this is an interesting piece of tactic, isn't it? And these two have really opened up now. And the young Norwegian going with him, well, is this 15 seconds of frame, or what on earth is it? Sveen, really, he's got absolutely no history. This, as far as I understand, Mike, is his first ever World Cup start. So what's amazing, he wears 69. Interestingly, not for the first time, Mike, but Billy de Monk from Nordic Combined is involved here. and he's actually wearing bib 70, and he finished 51st here in the freestyle mass start a couple of seasons ago in 2011. So that's quite amazing that he's taking on a classic race, Billy Demong of the United States, but he just loves the tradition and the occasion here in Oslo.
It's quite amazing. It's amazing what's happening here. Look at this. There's going to be a 15-second gap at least, and the two Swedes, obviously the athletes can push past them or shout them to get out of the way, but I think they're comfortably trying to hold it back.
David Hoffer there, the top Italian, going through. 6 on the near side. That was Tobias Angerer close to the lead. So fascinating here on the second rotation and a mini break. So on their way back to the stadium now to complete the first of their 8.3 kilometer laps, and you can see Northug on the left there, Legkoff in the red bib, and now Northug playing games there as well, just having a little look around. 33 in the picture there, that's Jens Eriksson, and Northug potentially getting a little fed up with what was going on there. Legkoff likewise, they just don't want to give it away. I mean, it'll be in their minds, the breakaway. Olsen was special, but, you know, Södergren, a 2-time Holmenkollen winner, you don't want to give him too much margin. Has he got the mental and physical strength to stay out there? You've got to think that he might just have that.
Well, I'm with you, and this is clearly, Petter Northug is spending most of his time psyching everybody out, breathing on everybody. Don't know why, just trying to unsettle things. Södergren, it's a brave man to go early. We saw it can work in the history of mass start 50Ks. It hasn't been attempted before, but it was successful at the World Champs. Well done, Södergren, if this is his strategy.
So here they come up the back straight now. If this is a bunch when we come towards the end here, this is the crucial climb. If you were with us for the Nordic Combined, you'll know that the line here is on the left of your screen. So you want to be where Södergren is, coming round over the bridge, has a little look there, probably in disbelief that Sveen is still with him, because he won't know Sveen terribly well. Nobody knows Sveen terribly well, but he is in a national race suit. Södergren takes on a bit of drink, and that's really important because the temperature's warmed up here. He
made sure, David, Södergren, that he got most of that bottle, about 200 mils of fluid, and every 20 minutes. Yeah, I think that's about right. So 3 times an hour, and it's going to be, I did say it'll take about 2:15. This race will be quicker. I think it'll be 2 hours. Well, there we are. It'll be 2 hours 5, 2 hours 6.
And that's a sensible place for the coaches to be, because on that bridge in these early rotations, that's a nice, flat, easy place to take on a drink. It won't be that on the last lap.
Oh, it won't be. And this man will be, Northug will be hoping that he is at the front as they passed that the last time.
Now, this could be a bit annoying when they come round to the second lap of bonus points, because Northug would like to get another 15 because it's an easy way of closing the gap.
Now, when they change their skis, they'll be nipping off to the right, and then you can see all the woodwork on the left. That's where their change of skis will be picked up. So not many of the big names, or none of the big names, changing their skis as expected, maybe after only 8.3 kilometers.
Sundby, he was unlucky. He got the silver medal in the skiathlon behind Dario Cologna, then got sick, so he didn't have a chance to run in the World. So he's relatively fresh. Could he be a danger for you today?
I believe in Sundby today, and he was also asked, so are you going to, have you got a strategy? Are you going to go and help Petter Northug, you know, to make some life easy for him? He said, absolutely no plans. We're fighting for ourselves, and I hope to be in the front and with 5 meters to go. So he's out to win.
Who on earth asked him that question?
Yeah, it's strange. But it certainly by the tone of it, you think, well, no, I'm not going to work for a teammate. I'm going to work for myself. And you have 50K, it's a long way, and you just have to suffer this discomfort.
Well, remember, it was him and Shurota who actually broke up the skiathlon and left Petter Northug trapped behind a wall of traffic, and he couldn't get back into it. He had that dynamite finish that took him back up into 4th place, but he was way off the mark when the pressure really went on. And here's Södergren, just moving sweetly along here. Good rhythm, and this guy, Mike, really is technically very efficient.
he's got so much strength in his legs that every time he presses through his left side or his right side, whichever lead side on these steep climbs, you do favour one side. But Södergren, efficiency is his name, and longer distance suits him better, but he doesn't have the sprint finish.
42, that's Remo Fischer on the left there for Switzerland, 31 years of age and pretty experienced, and went to the World Championships but didn't do anything really at all individually outside the top 30 in the 15 freestyle, which would have been his most suitable race. And now you can see Legkoff right in front of Legkoff. They're racing for Norway. That is Martin Jonsrud Sundby from Oslo, so this is where he lives these days. Out of your picture at the moment. Södergren can't possibly at the moment believe what's happening because he's got Sveen with him, but this is a big gap, and I can't believe, Mike, that we're about to see a repetition of what happened in Val di Fiemme. But you know, the longer they let him get away here, at some point he's going to say, well, okay, I believe this, because there's so much dawdling going on in the pack.
It's quite amazing. It really is. The Swedish pairing of Halvorsen and of course
Jens Eriksson.
Yeah, they're now not trying to hold it back, but it's not particularly in the chasing mode. And look at the energy up the front. And remember, what is it, 2 kilometres now, 1.5 to the bonus points again at the top of the 3 kilometre.
Yeah, I just wonder, Mike, I remember before Davos, at Davos just before the World Championships, and we had the race there with bonus points, and there were 4 opportunities, and Northug took 3 of them, couldn't take the 4th. And I think in terms of winning the 100 points, which is obviously, that's the big prize, you could actually win 90 points here by just concentrating on winning the sprints, and then get 0 points if you fell back and disappeared and didn't get anything else. But what Northug wants is a mixture of both, because if he could pick up 140, 150 points before they go to the Swedish finale, which embraces Stockholm and Falun next week, then he'd be sitting pretty to really take on Cologne. And you sense that, remember that Cologne in Lahti, very tired, went home.
That is so true. He tried. He did take part in the qualifying for the sprint race, but I think he was, what, 38th and 5 seconds off qualifying. And he said, no, I felt nothing. I didn't feel good. And then he had that cold or little health setback. But I think he'll be fine today when he gets his rhythm going again. Sveen well, we'll see Sveen, who's up front with Södergren. He has, you know, shown some quite good racing at an FIS Cup recently in Molde. He came 4th over 30 kilometres, but it's not world class. I think he's going to suffer.
Giorgio Gententa is leading the pack here. There's Legkoff just accelerating. Actually, it's a pity we didn't stay with that just a little bit longer there, because you had Giorgio and Legkoff suddenly beginning to realise that, you know, maybe something out of the ordinary is happening here as well.
David, what I'm thinking, we're not even 1/4 of the way through this race, okay? And you're pushing very, very hard. So any marathon runner knows it. If you push so hard in the first quarter, you're going to struggle in the last 1/8 or the last quarter even. But that's what Södergren's doing now. He's pushing so hard.
But it's Giorgio, 40 years of age, and of course the Olympic champion back in, what was it, 2006 in Torino, in Pragelato and Sestriere, winning that on the final day. 24 following him up there for Norway, and things are beginning to move now. Peter Eliasson of Norway to the front, and he's a good long distance runner, and I think they've all become aware that this could become silly. Remember, 10 kilometers in Val di Fiemme, you suddenly had Johan Olsen and Dario Cologne, and then Dario Cologne had the fall, and that opened up the opportunity for Olsen, who then had the mental and physical strength to go the rest of the way on his own. That was just a great occasion, and I think we were both privileged to see that, because I doubt that, well, I didn't think we'd ever see that again.
I didn't think we'd ever see that again, but we're seeing it again today so far. But if Södergren, he knows that he can do the individual time trialing and be stronger than anyone else, and I suppose in his mind he just has to visualize this being him against the clock, not, what have we got, 76 people breathing down on him, 70